everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And on today's episode, by the way, welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks here.
Yeah, it's the off season. We see each other every couple of weeks.
Season. Right. We're going to be talking about some news. There's a bit of news that has happened over the last couple of weeks. We are going to discuss some of the available free agents that the Panthers may need to look at, especially considering some of the news we're going to talk about. And we're going to discuss who we believe the Carolina Panthers core players are. Now, many of you may have read an ESPN article that is doing this exact same thing.
Yeah.
I will give Jerry credit. He came up with this idea before the article came out. So, Jerry, I'm sorry that ESPN stole your great idea.
It's like they dive into my brain in the middle of the night while I'm sleeping and think of the topics I'm kind of creating in my head and pull them out and say, hey, let's do this before they do. It happens all the time.
Yeah. I mean, normally when there's a strange man in your room, that's a welcome sign for you. But in this case, they're stealing your good ideas.
Yeah, no. I'm not even going to jump. No.
All right. Well, Jerry, there is a little bit of housekeeping I think that we need to do here.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and explain what happened here. Jerry won a bet for the first time in the history of gambling. Jerry has won a bet against me, the draft day bets that we had. Jerry actually waxed the floor with me, absolutely destroyed me. And as a result, I was forced to purchase him an item on Amazon, ideally football related, not rubber ducks, as Jerry once purchased for me. Used dirty rubber ducks, by the way. Great gift. It still makes me laugh. But Jerry has received the package, and we will be doing the unveiling of the package on this podcast.
Yes, and before I open this real quick, I have to let you know, I had to stop Sylvia from opening this multiple times. She kept saying, I want to know what it is. She was like, I have to know what this is. I was like, no, we have to read it on. She's like, well, I won't tell you. No. So,
well, she's going to be excited because not only is it a gift for you, it is a gift for both of you.
See, I personally think it's a Sharknado DVD because when we first met, that was a white elephant gift you gave out, was a Sharknado DVD.
Yes.
Even though I don't have a DVD player anymore, so...
Still an amazing movie. An amazing movie. But it is not a Sharknado DVD. I will tell you that.
Okay. Whew. All right.
Not a Sharknado DVD. Oh, by the way, anyone listening on the podcast, if you want to see what this is, just jump on the YouTube, watch for the first 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, like and subscribe there too.
Like and subscribe there too. Yes.
All right.
All right.
Opening it up. Oh my.
It's so many of Jerry's favorite things.
80 for Brady. I thought this movie just came out.
Jerry loves Tom Brady. We know that. And he loves old white women. We know that.
Lily Tomlin.
These are your two favorite things.
Jane Fonda, Rita Moreno, Sally Field, and Tom Brady.
I mean, Gronkowski makes an appearance. I mean,
best friends get into the best kind of trouble. Yes, we do.
It's like The Hangover, but for 80-year-old white women. Congratulations, Jerry.
That's hilarious. By the way, we record this at night, so it looks like I'm staying up till 2 a.m. watching this. Just let everybody know.
Have to, yeah. I'm gonna look forward on the next podcast. Jerry's gonna do a review of 80 for Brady.
Don't try me. I might have to actually watch it just to come up with a 2-minute synopsis.
First, he's gonna have to buy a DVD player. Then he's gonna have to watch 80 for Brady.
Wait, I think my PlayStation has a...
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. Well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into some news here.
Yes. Some good news. Bryce Young has started taking first-team reps in minicamp today, I actually believe it happened.
Today,
so if we recorded yesterday, we wouldn't know this. But good news. I mean, it's nothing set in stone that he's going to start, but it's all trending that way, unless Andy Dalton is just far superior, which I don't foresee happening in training.
Yeah, I mean, Frank Reich had a press conference today. Actually, Bryce Young did as well, and I encourage everyone to go watch both of them. But Reich just mentioned this was the plan. You know, we're going to get him first team reps here at some point during minicamp, and they did today. By all accounts, he started off a little shaky. Excuse me. Started off a little shaky, but finished out very strong. Made a couple of really nice passes. One deep pass to Shark in the corner of the end zone, which I heard was just a perfect pass. TMJ, I heard, made a really nice catch above like 3 defenders. So, you know, it's minicamp. There's no pads, but early returns so far are positive.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you can hope for.
Yeah.
Just he looks the part.
Right.
And you get him working with the first team, get the first team, have him kind of know their speed, know how they like to run routes, because that plays a big factor in game time.
For sure. I mean, the more time he can get with the starters, the better.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, moving on, Charlotte Observer came out with an interview with Tommy Tremble by Mike Kay. It's a good read. I read it earlier today. But one thing that really jumped out at me is Tremble said, quote, "This is the first time we've actually really been coached up receiving-wise, other than us trying to figure it out on our own."
Shots fired. Shots fired at Matt Rule.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, the other coaches, the only thing he basically says is we are taught how to block. So is that the tight end coach, or is that James Campen that was teaching that?
Well, you know, I don't know that James Campen is like a receiving coach, you know.
No. But I'm just saying that basically he's saying he was taught how to block, but not how to receive, like work on.
Well, it showed.
Yeah,
it showed. You know, this. I mean, good. I guess. I mean, you know, Tommy Tremble has been kind of a disappointment so far. Blocking hasn't been very good, honestly, and his receiving has been next to zero. He's shown a couple of flashes here and there, but you know, if he's going to stay on this roster, I think past this season, he's going to have to do something this year.
I agree. I think he's still in this roster next year, but if he wants an extension or contract, he's definitely got to have to put something on tape this year.
I mean, they signed Hayden Hurst, you know, because Tommy Tremble and Ian Thomas just weren't getting it done. So
they didn't look like they were close to getting it done, besides some blocking attempts by Ian Thomas.
Right.
But anyways, I just was shocked that he came out and said it like that. I was like, woo. And like I said, good interview, Tommy Tremble by Mike Kay. So
very blunt, but I like it. I mean, and by the way, like, not a shock.
No.
That the team wasn't coached, you know, properly or coached up well. I mean, we saw it for 2.5 years. You know,
same problems constantly. But my biggest takeaway was I thought Matt Rule was a college coach, so you would assume he would be coaching up players, or at least his coaching staff would know how to coach up players. Considering, but doesn't seem like that's the case. I'll be interested what happens in Nebraska. I know he's been a really good college coach, but we got to coach up guys too.
Yeah, I'm interested to watch his journey there. I'm not rooting against him per se, but if he flops, I'm not going to be upset about it.
I'll be actively rooting against them. Yeah. All right, moving on.
Let's get to Jerry. Let's get to your favorite news of the day.
Brian Burns is changing his number to 0. Thanks, Burns. I just bought your jersey last year, or it was a gift to me. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now it's vintage.
Now it's vintage
Brian
because
Burns
my
jersey.
current Panther uniform or jerseys from last year were Christian McCaffrey and Brian Burns. Oh, yay. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't affect me. I don't have a Burns jersey.
Not that I don't like Burns. I think he's a great player, and I would have a jersey of his if I decided to buy the CMC jersey. But um, Zero's cool.
I think
It's a
Zero
cool
is
number.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
And he did the whole spider web in it and stuff like that for his post. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. The unveiling looked cool. But you're not the only one that I saw that was pretty upset by the news. Because I would say of all the Panthers currently on the roster, by far he has to have the highest jersey sales.
Besides Young, yeah.
No, I'm saying of people that have Brian Burns jerseys.
Oh yeah,
it's way more than Bryce Young right now.
Oh yeah,
and way more people have 53 jerseys than Bryce Young. So, I might get a Zero jersey though. I mean, if they can lock him up, if we can get that contract taken care of, and I know he's going to be here for the next 3 or 4 years, I may get a Burns Zero jersey. I think that's kind of cool.
I think the locking him up is already underway, and it's going to happen probably before the season starts.
I hope so. Yeah. So he didn't have to like purchase that jersey number from anyone on the roster, but he did have to purchase all of the 53 jerseys that were, I guess, produced by Nike. Whoever the official, I guess it's Nike, the official partner. So he had to buy all the existing 53 jerseys. I'm curious as to how much that was. I don't know that we'll ever know, but I'm curious as to how much he paid to move to Zero.
Yeah, this is the first year Zero is allowed, I believe. Right. And I know for a lot of players, that jersey buying is why they hold off for a year. They have to hold off for a year, and they try to deplete the reserves. Which I don't blame them. I mean, $1 million or $2 million, yeah, I'm going to keep that money.
Yeah, for sure. It has to be in the millions. I mean, especially for a player like him, who's very popular, and there's a lot of jerseys out there. I would guess it's, tens of thousands of jerseys for sure. Yeah. I don't know if he's paying retail price for them, but he's probably at least paying whatever the cost is.
Yeah, I think that's what they probably have to pay, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to your favorite news.
Yes. North Carolina is this close to approving online sports gambling throughout the state. It's gone through the North Carolina Congress, and basically it's just waiting on Cooper's signature. He's already said he's going to sign off on it. I love it. I think it's, number one, just a good thing for North Carolina.
So is it only online?
It is online sports gambling, yes. So like FanDuel, DraftKings, all that's going to be coming in. I think also, I haven't read the bill, but I believe you can also bet in certain, I know you can already do it in the Indian casinos, in the Catawba and the new Three Rivers, and then the Harrah's. But I think you can do it. I think you'll be able to do it at the stadium.
Just not the players.
Well. Let's hope not. But yeah, this is, I think we're the 28th state to officially legalize it. As a few years ago, everyone will probably remember the big Supreme Court case that essentially said that it was not illegal to do this. So each state has been going through their own process, but probably not going to start until 2024. But it brings up some interesting things, because we just saw that the Colts have a player, Isaiah Rodgers, I think his name is.
Yeah, I think that's his name.
Yeah, I know his last name is Rodgers. I'm not sure if it's Isaiah, but who apparently was placing hundreds of bets, some of them on the Colts, through a friend's account or something, but he was doing it on his own phone. He was doing it in the facilities. Big no-no. There's no punishment that's been handed down yet, but with Calvin Ridley, he got a year, and he wasn't even playing. This guy was playing every week.
Yeah, I was gonna say Calvin Ridley was at home,
right,
betting for his team to win. Like,
right.
As much as I hate saying that, as he was a Falcons fan, or as a Falcons player at the time, I was just like, that just seems a little bit more harsh than not. And then Indy also got a lot of players suspended anyways for just betting on games in the facility.
Detroit.
Oh, Detroit. Yes.
Detroit did.
They're both blue
I've
and
heard
white
that
type of
they're
teams. I just
yeah, yeah. Well, again, you're right though. They got a bunch of players suspended just for betting in the stadium, not on the Lions, not on football supposedly, but or at least not professional football. But now that North Carolina is legalizing this, I'm hoping that Frank Reich and Tepper and the powers that be make it very clear to our players that this is a stupid idea. Do not bet on NFL games. Do not bet on anything in the stadium.
Yep.
Right? At work. Uh, just wait until you get in your car or something. Like if you have to do it, just don't do it on team premises.
I just don't understand that thought process of the NFL of not being able to bet on anything. NFL, I completely understand. Like, I get it. You don't want them to bet on the NFL. There's always that risk of, point shaving and everything else.
Oh, it's a huge risk. I mean, not even point shaving, but think about it like Isaiah Rodgers. And again, I hope his name is Isaiah. He's a corner, I think. He's a defensive player. Imagine he put a bet on himself to have 10 tackles in a game or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's at 9. And he has an opportunity to break up a pass or to let the guy catch the ball and tackle him. I wonder if he's thinking that, right? If he's thinking, man, maybe I should let this guy catch the ball. I can tackle him. I can win my bet. No big deal. Like we're still going to be fine. But then he misses the tackle or, something happens.
Or what if he's at 7 or 8 and it's a play action. He jumps it because he wants to get in on that tackle to get his numbers up.
Right.
Again,
I think it's a big deal.
I do.
It's a huge deal.
I agree with you that betting on the NFL is a big, big no-no. And that being said, I do think that being able to... What if they're in the facility right now betting on the NBA Finals? Like they're working out...
It's just a slippery slope type thing. But I also think that there are legal rules in place that prevent... I don't know if it's illegal for them to do it, but I know that the sports books have to report on if they see something like this going on. But regardless of whatever it is, that's the rule in the NFL is you can't make these sports wagers or any type of gambling, I don't think, in the facility. And I think that's smart because it's a slippery slope. You're betting on basketball, all of a sudden, well, hey, you know what? We're not playing Monday night, but the Raiders and the Bucks are, and who knows what kind of inside information they have. Like it's a very slippery slope. I think it's just wise for the NFL to say, let's just keep it out of the facilities at the very least.
Yeah, no, I could get that.
Yeah.
All right.
I think they shouldn't be allowed to do it during the season at all. Honestly, they're making so much money, they don't need to gamble. I know it's fun and maybe I'm being overly
you're
harsh
right
or whatever, but yeah.
You're right. They don't need the money, but that's also kind of the slippery slope of, I mean, if you're betting for it, needing the money, you shouldn't be betting.
That's true. That's true. And most of them aren't betting for that. Like they're betting for fun or whatever the case is. But
I mean, we do beer bets every week on this show because of that.
Right, but we don't play in the NFL.
No. Again,
it's just such a slippery slope, and it's just like so easy for these guys to miss a tackle. Right?
No,
it's just so easy for them to drop a pass.
Betting on the NFL is a complete no-no. I agree with that. I'm just saying that the harshness of the Detroit situation of a guy betting on baseball or basketball while he's in the locker room with his, with his friends and buddies, It's just like me and you, if we were still working in the same office, we would shoot the junk and be like, hey, do you like this line? Yeah, I'll put $5 on it.
But you and I also have rules with where we work that we can't do certain things with other financial institutions. We can't do certain things with, housing loans, things like that,
Yeah, that's
certain
true.
nonprofits. Like there are regulations and rules in every industry. It's just, the NFL, all these professional sports teams, if you don't have that integrity, you have nothing, right?
Yeah.
Everything blows up.
Honestly, I
So
think you
it's
just
just,
flipped me with that comment.
yeah, it's just very dangerous.
Just
So
no betting in the stadium or facility. Yeah,
yeah,
okay. I'm
yeah.
backing you up on that after you said that because I kind of
Thanks.
understanding you.
We've solved it. We've solved the problem. All right. Let's get to this last piece of news here.
Oh, yes. This one, JC Horn injured his ankle and foot on the weekend and will miss the remaining part of minicamp and OTAs. He should be back by training camp. This is not the ankle and foot he injured during the season.
Oh, it's
It's
the
the
other
other
one.
one.
Yeah. Which, is good and bad, I guess. He's not re-injuring something and making it even weaker, but now he's got 2 feet that are, I it doesn't sound like it's a big deal, right? It's not going to require surgery, but it was bad enough to where he did go and see a surgeon to make sure that it didn't need surgery, right? Like it's not nothing. I'd imagine it's a sprain or something. They haven't really said what it is, or at least I haven't seen what it is, but this is just another injury for JC Horn. And I think the question can be asked now, did the Panthers make a massive mistake by drafting him instead of Pat Surtain?
I mean, Pat Surtain's already top 5 corner in the league by
He's an
most people's
all-pro,
standards.
right?
I mean,
I think he was second team all-pro last year.
JC Horn has looked great when he's out there, but that's the problem. This is what, his 4th injury? His 4th injury since...
Yeah. He's looked just as good, if not better, than Pat Surtain when he's on the field. But Pat Surtain has played, I think, all but 1 game in his career. And I don't know how many JC Horn's played off the top of my head, but he's missed significant portions of both his seasons. Now he's going to miss minicamp and OTAs. Hopefully he'll be back for training camp. They're saying that he will be. Who knows what happens in training camp? Like, he just heard it working out on his own.
Yeah, the best ability is availability.
Yeah.
He has all the talent. Like I said, we've both said that he's been insanely good when he's playing. He's just not available.
Yeah, I mean, he's excellent. He's elite. I think if he did play a full season, he would be in that conversation for All-Pro.
Yeah, I do too.
Is he ever going to get there? Like,
he's got to play a whole season. I mean, that's the thing. He's got to play the season.
And I've seen a lot of people saying that they're not concerned, like, this is training camp, blah, blah, blah. It's not just this one. It's the history. Like, and I know they were broken bones, but maybe this guy's got brittle bones. Some people have stronger bones than others. Maybe
the other ones were freak accidents. Okay, but it's constantly happening. The freak accidents happen to other players too, and they don't break things. That's
right. That's what I've been trying to say. Like, and I'm not saying that he is like this. Maybe this is a blip, and he's going to be healthy the rest of his career. I really, really hope so. But so far, this is what we've seen from him. He is injury prone.
There's not many players who bounce back after multiple injuries right at the start of their career and have no injury history. Thomas Davis is the only one I really could think of. Yeah, had a lot of injury problems, and then towards his end of his career was not injured.
Well, thank God that JC Horn hasn't had to come back from 3 ACL surgeries, because I would not wish that on anyone. But all right, well, let's jump into our next topic here. Talking about the JC Horn injury, sort of made Jerry and me think the royal we, Jerry and me think about who's still out there. The Panthers have the second most cap space in the NFL still. They haven't really signed anyone significant over the last few months. Cornerback, I think, should be at or near the top of the list.
I mean, I was talking about corner in the draft, not top, but like round 3 and stuff, because there was a lot of talent out there in the draft. And J.C. Horn and Dante Jackson are made of glass right now. And then we have C.J. Henderson, who His play is like a roller coaster, baby.
Yeah.
That's a little Red Hot Chili Peppers reference to like the few people that are over 35.
Right. You're aging yourself, Jerry. Just looking at a few of these guys that are left out here, and there aren't that many, but Marcus Peters in terms of corners, he's out there now. He's a guy that had ACL surgery a couple of years ago. Last year was his first year back. Looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I think he'd be an excellent addition
he's
to the
30
team.
years old. I think he could play. I would
he
love
can absolutely still play.
Bring in Peters, and then you let whoever is the best, probably him and Horn start, and Dante, sub it in.
Yeah, put him in, in those three corner situations, or a super sub, and then you still got Henderson.
And then you also, because you got to think too, Marcus Peters at 30 years old still has the ability to coach some of these guys up, especially like a CJ Henderson who may need a veteran presence. And Dante Jackson, I don't know if he has that veteran savvy experience that Peters does.
Well, plus he's injury prone himself. Like, who knows how long he'll be out there, But yeah, Peters, could be very similar in terms of a veteran presence like Stephon Gilmore was, who, by the way, we never should have let go. Stephon Gilmore still should be on this team.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah. There's Bryce Callahan, another guy with the Chargers last year, but another guy that's injury prone. Had a really good season last year, but I don't know that that's a guy you want to bring back. Who else? Anybody else that you have seen that would be...
I've been looking, and those are the two names that really pop up that I saw / are on top of most of these. I'm trying to scroll through CBS.
Cameron Dantzler.
He's young.
He's young. He's with the was he with the
he was
Washington
with the Vikings
last year, Commanders. Okay. No interceptions last year, but this is the thing. This is where we are now. Like, there's
yeah.
I don't know.
The corner is honestly pretty dry. I think going after Marcus Peters would probably be the smartest move to make, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You get a starting potential there. You got a veteran to come in with this locker room of younger corners who's played in a Pro Bowl level, and I believe he played in the Super Bowl with Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken. I would like to bring him in. We got the $20-something million in cap space, but other than that, the only other position we really need is edge rusher, opposite Brian Burns.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's another big hole. And unfortunately, I mean, there are a couple of guys out there, such as
Yannick Ngakoue.
That would be at top of my list.
Yeah.
Probably going to be expensive.
But, I mean...
I think Clowney's out there, right? And Clowney's still out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do Clowney. He just doesn't seem to really play hard. Like, he seems like he had all the talent, but he just never really produced the way he does. And from what I've heard and stuff, like, Cleveland just felt like he just gave up on them.
Yeah.
So, I would prefer to go Yannick Ngakoue, Melvin Ingram, but he's 34. I mean, I guess you could bring him in just in case something else doesn't happen. Because I personally think they're going to use Frankie Louvu on the edge a lot more.
I hope so, but they haven't really even talked about that.
I mean, I don't know. They haven't really talked about much of anything besides Jeremy Chinn's not really playing safety anymore. He's going to be playing more closer to the line more.
Justin Houston, he's, again, another older guy, but still productive. But again, like, we're at that point now where, you're going to have to bring in an old guy. or you're gonna have to bring in somebody that's had injury concerns. You're gonna have
Mm-hmm.
to bring in somebody that's gonna be very expensive. Like those are your options.
There's also the possibility that you could trade for somebody, as
True.
Chase Young is on the trading block. The
True.
Vikings are putting I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now.
Don't know. Don't look at me.
Oh no, let's talk Chase Young real quick while I Google it.
Yeah, Chase Young. I mean, I've heard people are saying maybe a third round pick is all you would need
Well,
to
he's
get
gonna
him.
want that big contract too.
He is, and he's got injury concerns,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, heck of a talent, but can you trust him if you're going to sign him to a huge deal? I don't know if he would. I mean, he wouldn't take like a prove it deal or anything. He's still
Yeah,
got time left on his contract,
and
so
he's
he's
an
just
edge
looking for an
rusher,
extension.
so I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that would. He and Burns would be incredible
that would be so
if he was
dynamic.
healthy. Yeah, if he was healthy,
I would be
which is the
willing.
big thing.
Well, I guess it would be what would the compensation be, but I would be so willing to deal out another pick, get him in here, and pair those two.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
I mean,
drooling in the mental thought of it.
but again, it's one of those things where you have to weigh the pros and the cons, right? I mean, and there are cons with
That
Chase Young.
yeah.
There's a reason that they didn't give him the 5th year, option. He
Zadarius Smith, Minnesota Vikings
There
are
you go.
shopping. So
Yeah, there's another one that would be pretty awesome opposite Burns, I think.
yeah, I mean he is a little bit older. He's 30 years old, but I mean he's still playing well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be concerned about that
Yeah,
about his age.
he had 44 tackles last year, 15 tackles for loss, and 10 sacks. I mean, great. That's a great.
Take it.
And you're putting him opposite of Brian Burns. That's going to free up
Yeah.
Brian Burns, and that's going to free him up. So, pick your poison.
I mean, there are also going to be cuts, throughout training camp, right before the season. Guys are going to get cut for various reasons. Some good players are going to be available. And I have a feeling that's what they're saving their money for, is just waiting for those
players,
guys to come available. Because at that point, you've got a lot less competition to sign those guys because most rosters are going to be set by then. So either way, I very much doubt that we go into week 1 with the edge rusher room that we have now. And I'd be very surprised if they didn't at least sign a starter level cornerback.
I hope so. I really do, because I don't want to deal with this theory of the cornerback room. If they're all healthy and CJ Henderson starts playing well, then it's a great room. But that doesn't seem to be the case for the past 2-3 years. Let's batten down the hatches for worst case scenario, to be honest with you.
And I've seen a lot of people say that, well, if Evero's, front seven is pressuring the quarterback this much and, you're getting 60 sacks, then even CJ Henderson would look really good back there. Well, then we need to sign another edge rusher, because I don't think, Yetur Gross-Matos or Marquise Haynes or any of these guys is going to be able to get double-digit sacks from that position.
Like I said, the only one
Luvu, maybe.
I was going to say, Luvu's my only... This is my personal thought. I don't know how it would work 100% in Evero's system, but I would put Burns and Luvu as the outside linebacker with Chin and Shaq in the middle. You're going to have Jeremy Chin bulk up a little bit, but the front would be Derek Brown, Tuttle, and I guess Etor, who's probably a little bit better for this system, maybe. I don't know. I mean, so you got Derek Brown. And then I think Luvu would be the edge rusher, him and Burns, because he could at least play coverage as well pretty well, so if he has to drop back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Who does ESPN currently has us with? Henry Anderson as the starter at left defensive end. So Anderson, Tuttle, and Brown.
And that might be. Anderson might fit the scheme better.
They got Burns, Shaq, Luvu, and Marquise Haynes at the 4 linebacker positions. So would be Burns and Haynes on the outsides at weak and strong, and then interior is Thompson and Luvu.
Where do they have Jeremy Chin starting? Or nowhere?
They have Chin. They have Chin as the second team free safety. So that's obviously not correct because Chin's got to be out there.
Yeah, he's such a playmaker. Yeah. You would assume he's going to be out there, especially with a Evero type of guy who likes that free rangey type of playmaker that he is. It wasn't the greatest safety, but that's, again, I don't
And this is ESPN.com with this. And again, this is not official.
Yeah,
right?
This is them just throwing out what they think quickly.
Right. They do have Bryce Young as the starter at quarterback. So that's kind of opposite of what Frank Reich has been saying all these weeks until today. But all right. Well, yeah, let us know if you guys have any other ideas of edge rushers, corners, or any other position that you think we may need to upgrade on. And don't say we should go after freaking Dalvin Cook. We're not going to go after Dalvin Cook. We signed Miles Sanders to a giant deal. We're not going to go out and get a better running back to bring in to replace him already. He hasn't even started yet. And Reich was really singing his praises today, talking about how great Miles Sanders looks as a 3-down back. And he's like, we knew he was good. We didn't know he was this good.
Well, Deuce Staley's so close to him from his Philly years. So I'm not that shocked that they're riding his coattails. They plan on using him. I'm
excited about him, honestly. I think that's going to be really fun. But.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we will be right back with the core players.
All right.
And we are back from that quick break because Steven and I both don't want to pay for Zoom Plus or whatever they call that.
It'd be nice if we could steal the pro version of Zoom like we steal all of our other software. Right? Like, that'd be really nice, but
OBS is free, baby. It's free.
Yeah. I guess we could use something else, but Zoom just seems to work the best for us. So whatever.
Well, we'll try that Google Meet again now that I have my internet functions a little bit better.
Yes.
And then when I build the PC, before the season, hopefully we'll be able to do live streams and stuff.
Are you going to start a GoFundMe?
No, I'm not going
to. For the PC?
That. No.
No, we should.
No. I don't like begging for cash and stuff like that. If you want to donate to me getting a PC, you could donate to a good charity or something.
Or, support us on Anchor or what Spotify Music, I think it's called now. We do have a couple of those guys, so very much appreciate that. But all right, well, let's get to this here, Jerry.
Yeah. So again, we've said this before, but ESPN came out with this today, by Seth Walter. Here are his Panther core players: Bryce Young, Brian Burns, J.C. Horn, Derek Brown, and Taylor Moton.
I think we were ranked 23rd in the league in our core player rankings. But one thing I did notice was there was only one team ahead of us that had a younger core, and that was Detroit. And they're just like a few spots ahead of us. So even though we're not top of the list, we do have one of the younger cores in the NFL.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
And I agree. I mean, Bryce Young, you say core. We don't know what he's going to be at, but he's obviously a core piece. I mean,
he's got to be there. Yeah.
I mean, he's the
so what, when you think of the core, how do you define it?
All right.
In this context,
I think of the core team as going forward. These are the linchpins. I'm just going to go back to the 2015 style years of Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly, Greg Olsen, the Thomas Davis. I mean, those were the Benjamin. Core. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, sorry. He was out for Krispy Kreme donuts that day.
Yes. So yeah, that's kind of what I think. Like, these are the guys that if the Panthers are going to succeed, these are the guys that are going to take us there, right? These are the main guys that we need to perform so we can get to the promised land.
Well,
right?
I don't even necessarily say have to perform, but these are the guys you're banking on that no matter what, they're going to be solid. They're going to be the good players consistently.
See, I think, okay, so you and I are thinking of it a little differently. I'm thinking of these guys, if these guys aren't on the roster or aren't healthy, aren't playing well, then the team suffers. Like this is the heart of the team, is the way I'm thinking of it. I think we're saying basically the same thing.
Yeah, I do too. But
slightly different.
Yeah.
So I think we both have Bryce Young.
Brian Burns. Yeah.
For sure. I think Derek Brown.
Yeah.
I would put him up there.
Especially the way he played last year. I'm expecting a nice little year and a big contract for him coming.
Yeah. They've got Taylor Moton. I would switch Taylor Moton with Icky myself. Because I think, number one, left tackle is just more important. It just is. That's the blind side of your quarterback. He's younger. He's cheaper. And honestly, he played extremely well. And I think he's going to have to play even better if the Panthers are going to take that next step.
Taylor Moton, I kind of get it. Because he is that veteran on that line.
Mm-hmm.
I could say, you don't have to have 5 players. I would be fine adding Icky to this because of exactly what you said. But I also don't think kicking Taylor Moton out.
Well, I was going with just the 5 myself. But yeah, if you want to go 6, we can go 6 and just keep both of them in there.
Okay.
I would agree with that. I think but Moton also very important. I was going to say, if you're going to have an offensive lineman in there, I would have Icky.
I'll agree with that. If we're going to have to stick to 5, I'll put Icky there instead of Taylor Moton, but I still think Taylor Moton's probably part of the core piece.
Yeah.
JC Horn is my question. I personally don't know if he's there. I don't know yet if he's there. I'm taking JC Horn out and I'm putting Frankie Louvu in.
Interesting.
I think I know he's only on his 1-year deal right now, but I think he's shown so much heart in this team that other players really weren't, that I see him being a stud here for many years. I do see him being an integral piece. That being said, if he doesn't fit Evero's system, I could be wrong. But
I was going to say it. It's risky to put him as a core piece when we don't even know if he's going to be here next year. Right?
Yeah.
That would be my concern. I would have JC Horn in there because when he is out there, as we mentioned, he is elite. He is a weapon. He shuts down one side of the field. He takes out the best player. He's going to be here for several years. And if he stays healthy, he's going to get that second contract. He's going to be here for several more years. And I think he is one of the guys that has to play well. He has to step up. He has to be healthy for this team to be successful in 2023. I would say that he has to be there. Now, I like putting Louvu in there too, because we saw how important Louvu was last year when he got the opportunity to start and to play,
and when he wasn't out there, you could tell.
Yeah. Yeah, he was absolutely one of the best players on the defense. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, if we were going to do 6 or 7 guys, I would definitely have him in there. And I do hope that they can find a way to keep him around. And I hope that he does fit Evero's system.
Yeah, that's my only question, is if he fits Evero's system or if he's just more that 4-3 outside linebacker, which the way he plays, I just don't see it. I think he has that Jeremy Chin type of energy of you get him closer to the line, you let him make those type of plays that he's good at. That shooting that gap quickly, that reactionary play.
Yeah. Speaking of, neither one of us mentioned Jeremy Chin.
I don't think right now I don't think we could put him in. He didn't play well last year or the year before. Yeah. He dropped off after his rookie season. We both believe it's because of bad coaching decisions.
Playing out of position. Yeah.
Playing him out of his natural position.
Yeah.
Now, if Evero could unlock him like we think he can unlock him, next year he'll probably be in here.
He's got all the talent. He's got the measurables. He's got the skills. He just hasn't been put in the right position, in my opinion, in our opinion.
I mean, he played well at safety, but you're dropping him back, getting him away from the ball. That's not what he excelled at when he almost won Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Well, it's like you're taking a Ferrari off the highway and you're making him drive around residential streets. Like,
yes,
that's not what it's made for. You know, it's probably gonna be safer. You know, it's gonna get you where you need to go, but it's not using it to the best of it. It's not using it for what it was made for. And Jeremy Chinn is a freaking playmaker. Like, let him get out there and make plays. Let him be a Ferrari. Let him make splash plays. And that's what was so great about him. Like, he could change the tone of the game in one play.
That Minnesota game, even though they lost, I mean, he literally back-to-back touchdowns. I mean,
yeah, he's that kind of guy. And you put him so far away from the ball, he doesn't have those opportunities.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he ripped the ball out of Dalvin Cook's hand. It wasn't like he, got lucky. Yeah. He fought that thing out.
Johnny Hecker. He's a weapon.
I agree.
He's old. At least older than the guys that we're talking about. And I don't know if you want to put a punter as one of your core players.
I do not.
But I do think he is extremely important to the team. And I mean, we saw it last year, like how he really put the Panthers in good position many, many, many times. Just an honorable mention. I'm not serious about putting him as a core player, but
I was gonna say, if you throwing in Johnny Hecker, I'm doing JJ Jansen. Come at me.
Listen, I'm glad the special teams is getting some love here.
We're probably one of the only podcasts that constantly talks about our special team players.
You know what? They're underappreciated. That's
they
all
really
I have to say.
Your love for Joey Slye back in the day, our love
Joey.
for JJ Jansen, who we've brought up multiple times, you love him because you don't know who he is. If you knew him,
if you knew JJ Jansen, like if a non-hardcore Panthers fan knew who JJ Jansen was, he would not be a good player.
He would not be in the NFL.
The only time you hear about long snappers is when they screw up.
Yes,
that's it. So, love JJ Jansen. Glad he's back for another year. Shaq Thompson in years past would definitely be on this list.
I didn't even think about putting him in there.
I didn't either. There's no wide receiver that we can really put on this list.
Definitely not.
At least not this year. I think Miles Sanders
has potential to be on it.
Yeah, we just don't know enough yet about how he fits in with the rest of the team and everything. But I think skill-wise, and certainly what we saw last year, he very easily could be, when we talk about this next year, he very easily could be on that list. He's a guy that's going to be here for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Or has the potential to be, at least. They have an out after 2 years if it's not working out. But I'm hoping that it does work out. Yeah, I mean, one quarterback, one defensive end, tackle, couple of offensive linemen.
The linemen are going to go with the quarterback. I mean, that also is why I think Iggy and Taylor Bowden could be considered on there because, A, they're going to be here for a long term. I think Taylor Bowden has like 2 or 3 more years on his deal. And Icky's got, he rookie last year, so he's got another 4 or 5 years. He's going to be here
a long time. Yeah, I mean, he's first round pick, so they'll definitely pick up his option as long as he stays healthy. I mean, Bradley Bozeman, the team played, or the offensive line at least, really came together when he started playing last year.
Another Matt Rule mistake.
I think
remember,
he's fringe on this list.
We signed him to be the starter, and he refused to let him start right away.
Right. Loves to be here too. He and his wife, they're huge fans of the area. So, Any other thoughts there?
No. I mean, I think we've kind of touched on them. I think you calling out Shaq Thompson, it was something that didn't even register in my head that's a huge question.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you know, if you're saying if Luvu does play kind of that interior linebacker position, then at least that's represented on your list at least. But otherwise, I think that speaks to maybe a little bit of a lack of talent at that position right now.
Well, again, in my head, I'm dropping Chin down into
Right,
the
right.
linebacker
He's a
position.
rusher. Yeah, he's a
Luvu
rusher
and
for you.
Luvu and Burns are technically linebackers in my head too.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it.
All right, we want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. I haven't checked that lately. I need to do that.
Yeah, we'll definitely get you next time if you have left one since then. Our next episode is going to be in a couple of weeks, and we've got something special planned. We're going to do a draft.
Live stream of 80 for Brady with our commentary.
I'm actually not going to tease what we're going to do, but we're going to do something fun. We may have a couple of new voices with us as well, so we're looking forward to that. Keep your feeds refreshing in a couple of weeks for that one. But until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.